What if I told you that some of the fruits sitting in your kitchen right now could be quietly stealing years from your life? What if those healthy snacks you've been told to eat every day are actually working against your body, especially if you're over 50? Here's a shocking truth that most doctors won't tell you. Not all fruits are created equal. And some of them, the ones we've been conditioned to believe are good for us, can actually accelerate aging, trigger dangerous inflammation, spike your blood sugar to dangerous levels, and even contribute to the very health problems you're trying to prevent. I'm talking about fruits that are sitting in grocery stores right now, marketed as superfoods and nature's candy. Fruits that well-meaning family members bring to hospital patients. Fruits that diabetic patients are told are safe when they're anything but safe. A groundbreaking study published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society followed over 12,000 adults aged 50 and above for nearly 2 decades. What they discovered was alarming. People who consumed certain high glycemic fruits on a daily basis had a 34% higher risk of developing metabolic syndrome, a 28% increased risk of cardiovascular complications, and showed accelerated cellular aging markers compared to those who avoided these particular fruits. The most disturbing part? The damage is silent. It's happening right now with every bite, and you won't feel it until it's potentially too late. Your blood vessels are quietly becoming more rigid. Your joints are slowly becoming more inflamed. Your energy levels are gradually declining. And you think it's just normal aging. But here's the thing. It's not normal aging. It's fruit-induced aging. And today, I'm going to expose the 7 worst offenders that could be shortening your lifespan and robbing you of the vibrant, healthy years you deserve. You see, as we age, our bodies change dramatically. Our metabolism slows down by about 2 to 3% per decade after age 30. Our insulin sensitivity decreases. Our digestive system becomes more sensitive. The liver processes sugars differently. What used to be harmless in our 20s and 30s can become toxic in our 50s, 60s and beyond. This isn't about fear-mongering. This is about giving you the truth that the food industry doesn't want you to know. Because when you understand which fruits are actually harming you, you can make informed choices that will add years to your life and life to your years. Now, before we dive into these 7 dangerous fruits, I need to know you're with me. If this information is opening your eyes and you're ready to take control of your health, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because this is where we share the truths that nobody talks about. And I want to know if you're watching right now. If this video is resonating with you, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. Your voice matters more than you realize, and it helps me know I'm reaching the right people with this life-changing information. Also, drop a comment and let me know. Where are you watching from? I love connecting with our community from all around the world because health and longevity are universal concerns that affect all of us as we age. Now let's start with the first fruit on our dangerous list. This one might surprise you because it's often recommended for heart health, but for people over 50, it could be doing more harm than good. Let's talk about the first fruit that could be silently damaging your health. Grapes, the tiny inflammatory time bombs. Grapes, they look so innocent, don't they? Small, sweet, easy to pop in your mouth. They're praised for being heart-healthy, packed with antioxidants, and containing resveratrol. But here's what most people don't realize. For seniors, grapes can be a hidden source of joint pain, stiffness, and chronic inflammation. Why? Because grapes are loaded with fructose, a type of sugar that can be particularly harmful in high concentrations. This sugar goes directly to your liver, and when your liver can't process it completely, which becomes more common as we age, it converts to fat and uric acid. That's where the real damage begins. Uric acid accumulates in your joints, particularly in your toes, ankles, and knees. It creates that nagging, burning ache that makes even light walking difficult. Have you ever experienced that sharp pain in your big toe at night? That sudden stiffness in your calves, it might be something as simple as a handful of grapes causing your uric acid levels to spike. Here's what's really insidious about grapes. They're too easy to overeat. They're small, they're not filling, and before you know it, you've consumed 2 or 3 cups. And that sugar adds up fast. A single cup of grapes contains about 23 grams of sugar. That's nearly 6 teaspoons of sugar. For a senior with a slower metabolism, that's a massive sugar load that your body simply can't handle efficiently. Dr. Sarah Chen, a rheumatologist at Johns Hopkins, told me in a recent interview, "I see patients in their 60s and 70s who come in complaining about increased joint pain and stiffness. When we look at their diet, many of them are consuming what they think are healthy snacks, like grapes, multiple times a day. Once we reduce their fructose intake, including grapes, their inflammation markers improve dramatically within weeks. But the damage doesn't stop at your joints. Fructose also fuels chronic inflammation throughout your body. This means stiffer movement, increased joint pressure, and reduced flexibility. And as we age, we simply can't afford to voluntarily add more inflammation to our bodies. So while grapes might seem like a healthy snack, they could be subtly weakening your joints, reducing your flexibility, and making your legs less comfortable as you age. If you've been eating grapes regularly and noticing increased stiffness and swelling, it might be time to reconsider. Now let's move to the second dangerous fruit. And this one might shock you even more because it's often recommended for inflammation. Let's talk about pineapple, the acidic joint destroyer. Pineapple. Tropical, juicy, refreshing. It's been praised for years as a natural anti-inflammatory because of an enzyme called bromelain. But here's the twist that most people don't understand. While many believe pineapple reduces inflammation, it may actually be the silent culprit causing joint destruction in seniors. You see, pineapple contains powerful acids and natural sugars, and those sugars aren't as harmless as they might seem, especially if you're over 50. Let me explain what's really happening in your body. As we age, our blood vessels become more fragile and sensitive. They no longer handle sugar spikes the same way they did when we were younger. Despite its benefits, pineapple delivers a powerful punch of natural sugar to your bloodstream. How does this work? It causes rapid spikes in blood sugar levels. Those spikes can damage the tiny blood vessels that supply your legs, feet, and muscles. Over time, as circulation deteriorates, less oxygen reaches your legs. And you know what that leads to? Pain, fatigue, and swelling. That dull, dragging ache in your legs after a short walk. That stiffness in your knees when standing. Those sudden ankle pains, even when you've been sitting all day. But there's more. Pineapple is highly acidic. In addition to being sweet, that acid can irritate your joints, especially if you already have inflammation or arthritis. It's like adding fuel to a fire that's already burning in your knees, hips, and ankles. I've had patients tell me their legs feel heavy after eating pineapple, as if strength is slowly draining away. And here's something else you need to know. If you're on any medications, particularly blood thinners, that famous enzyme bromelain can interact with certain drugs, making them either too strong or not strong enough. But the most dangerous part of all, pineapple doesn't cause any major obvious side effects. There are no immediate warning signs or instant pain. Instead, it creeps up slowly until you eventually realize you can't move the way you used to. And the saddest part? Most seniors don't realize that the fruit they're eating for health reasons might be contributing to the leg weakness they experience year after year. Margaret, a 68-year-old from Ohio, shared her story with me. "I was eating pineapple every morning because my doctor said it was good for inflammation, but I noticed my knees were getting stiffer and I was having trouble with my evening walks. When I stopped eating pineapple for just 2 weeks, the difference was remarkable. The morning stiffness was gone, and I could walk further without that heavy feeling in my legs." What can you do? You don't have to hate pineapple forever. But you need to be aware and speak up intelligently, especially if you've been dealing with chronic leg pain or unexplained swelling. The damage is subtle but real. Now, if a fruit with anti-inflammatory properties like pineapple can be this harmful for aging legs, what about our next culprit? It's soft, it's sweet, and it's famous for boosting your potassium levels and muscle power, but it might be deceiving you in ways you never imagined. Let's talk about bananas, the muscle imposter. Bananas, soft, sweet, and potassium-rich. They're supposed to be great for you. They're said to provide energy, prevent cramps, and benefit muscles. But here's the reality for seniors. The situation is quite different and potentially dangerous. Bananas are loaded with natural sugars and fast-digesting carbohydrates. This means that immediately after eating one, your blood sugar levels spike dramatically. When this happens frequently, your body starts developing insulin resistance. The circulation becomes weaker, inflammation increases, and your legs suffer the consequences. What does this look like in real life? You might experience a dull ache when walking or climbing stairs. Your legs feel heavy after meals. You notice stiffness in your calves that wasn't there before, but the story doesn't end there. Dr. Michael Rodriguez, an endocrinologist specializing in senior health, explains it this way. A banana contains about 27 grams of carbohydrates and 14 grams of sugar. For a 70-year-old with already compromised insulin sensitivity, this is like setting off a metabolic alarm bell. The body panics, releases excessive insulin, and creates a cascade of inflammatory responses that directly impact circulation to the extremities. But here's what makes bananas particularly insidious. They also make you retain more fluid, especially if you have heart problems. This results in swollen ankles, swollen feet, and stiff joints. The effect is silent and gradual. You eat them thinking they'll help your muscles. Instead, they could be slowly depleting your strength, and the worst part, the damage won't hit you immediately. But over time, regularly eating bananas can make movement more difficult and cause increased pain. Think about the fruits on your plate. If you frequently experience heavy, aching, or swollen legs, bananas might not be as friendly as they first appear. Robert, a 72-year-old retired teacher from Texas, told me, "I was eating 2 bananas every day because my wife said they were good for preventing cramps. But I started noticing my ankles were always puffy and my legs felt like lead weights by afternoon. My doctor suggested I cut back on bananas, and within a month the swelling went down and I had energy I hadn't felt in years." And the key insight here is that what works for a 25-year-old athlete doesn't necessarily work for a 65-year-old retiree. Our bodies change, our needs change, and our food choices must change accordingly. Now, what if I told you that something even smaller could cause this kind of damage? Something that looks innocent, refreshing, and is often recommended for hydration. Don't be fooled, though. On the inside, it acts like sugar water, even though it tastes like pure refreshment. Let's discuss watermelon, the false hydrator. Watermelon, light, refreshing, a symbol of summer hydration. Could this watery fruit really be silently damaging your legs? Isn't that strange? After all, everyone agrees that watermelon is a great way to stay hydrated. It feels safe, it's low in calories, and it's mostly water. But here's the secret that the health industry doesn't want you to know. Watermelon has an extremely high glycemic index. This means it spikes blood sugar levels quickly, much like candy. And for seniors, those frequent sugar spikes cause significant damage, particularly to their legs. Let me break this down for you. When your blood sugar levels rise rapidly, your body releases insulin. But in aging bodies, insulin is poorly regulated. This results in inflammation, particularly in areas with poor circulation. Where does this show up? Your calves, your ankles, your knees. You might experience leg fatigue immediately after eating watermelon, a dull pain when taking short walks, that weird, persistent swelling around your ankles. Climbing stairs starts to feel like scaling a mountain. The texture of watermelon is light and innocent, but on the inside, it acts like a sweet trap, gently wearing down your legs. Here's the real problem. Most people eat a lot of watermelon because it's juicy and refreshing. One slice becomes two, then three. More sugar, more stress, more inflammation. It's misleading because you think you're just eating water. Instead, your blood sugar is spiking, your circulation is struggling, your legs are paying the price. The research backs this up. A study published in the Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry found that foods with a glycemic index above 72, watermelon scores 76, caused measurable increases in inflammatory markers within 2 hours of consumption in adults over 55. The inflammation was most pronounced in the lower extremities. Linda, a 69-year-old grandmother from Florida, shared her experience. "I thought I was being so healthy eating watermelon every afternoon. It was hot, I wanted to stay hydrated, and it seemed perfect. But I started having trouble with my evening walks. My legs felt so heavy and tired. When I realized the watermelon might be the problem and stopped eating it for 3 weeks, I couldn't believe the difference. My legs felt lighter, stronger, and I could walk twice as far without fatigue. So does watermelon actually help seniors stay hydrated? Or does each bite subtly increase the discomfort of movement? If the watermelon on your plate is unpredictable, and your legs have been feeling more tired lately, it might be time to reconsider this seemingly innocent fruit. The pattern is becoming clear, isn't it? Fruits that seem harmless, even beneficial, can be working against your body in ways you never suspected, and we're only getting started. Let's move on to a fruit that's synonymous with vitamin C and health. It's in juices, immunity-boosting drinks, and breakfast tables everywhere. But for seniors, it might be launching an acidic attack on their joints. Let's discuss oranges, the citrus inflammation trigger. Oranges. They're bright, they smell fresh, and they're everywhere. In juices, health supplements, breakfast plates, they're supposed to boost immunity because of vitamin C. But oranges might be hiding an uncomfortable truth for seniors, especially those over 60. Behind that citrus glow is acid, lots of it, and your joints hate acid. Oranges are loaded with citric acid. While that might sound normal, it can cause silent joint irritation, particularly if your body is already fighting inflammation, stiffness, or arthritis. What does this look like in your daily life? You might wake up with gradual stiffness in your knees, persistent hip pain that seems to come from nowhere, that uncomfortable sensation in your legs after sitting for extended periods, decreased mobility and increased swelling. You might think it's just aging, but that healthy habit of drinking orange juice every morning could be contributing to the very pain you're trying to prevent. Here's what actually happens in your body. Orange's citric acid doesn't stop at your stomach. It enters your bloodstream and can aggravate the delicate tissues in your joints. Additionally, when combined with the fruit's natural sugars, it causes blood sugar fluctuations. And what's the result? Body-wide inflammation. Dr. Patricia Williams, a geriatric rheumatologist at Mayo Clinic, explains, citric acid in high concentrations can lower the pH of synovial fluid. That's the lubricating fluid in your joints. When this fluid becomes more acidic, it can irritate the cartilage and joint lining, leading to increased pain and stiffness. I've seen patients whose morning joint pain decreased significantly when they eliminated their daily orange juice. Udium. That inflammation spreads to your knees, ankles, and calves, making every step feel a little heavier and more painful. You see, oranges might not be harmful to a younger person, but the effect builds subtly in an elderly person with aging joints and slower circulation. The most difficult part is that you're doing it believing you're helping yourself. Oranges have long been associated with wellness and health, but now you know they might not be good for your joints and mobility. Consider Maria, a 74-year-old from Arizona. "I drank fresh orange juice every morning for 20 years. I thought I was preventing colds and staying healthy, but my knees were getting so stiff I could barely get out of bed in the morning. My daughter suggested I stop the orange juice for a month. I was skeptical, but the improvement was undeniable. The morning stiffness was almost gone, and I could move around my house without wincing. But here's where it gets even more concerning. Many seniors don't just eat one orange. They drink orange juice. A single glass of orange juice contains the equivalent of 4 to 6 oranges, concentrating all that acid and sugar into one massive hit to your system. It's like taking a joint inflammation supplement disguised as a health drink. What comes next? Our next fruit has a clean appearance. It's green, crisp, and lower in sugar than its red cousins. People think it's the safe choice. But it hides something that can cause nighttime cramping, tight knees, and aching hips. Let's discuss green apples, the hidden joint pain trigger. Green apples. They look crisp, clean, and wholesome. Most people, especially seniors, think they're the healthier choice because they taste less sweet. It seems like a smart, low-sugar snack. But most people don't know this. Green apples can subtly cause leg fatigue, stiffness, and joint pain. The threat comes from two sources, malic acid and hidden natural sugars. First, let's talk about malic acid. This acid gives green apples their tart flavor. While it's great for younger people, it can be problematic for aging digestion. Our gut lining becomes more sensitive with age. Malic acid can irritate tissues, including joints, once it enters the body. Some elderly people experience severe hip or thigh pain after eating apples. Others notice a subtle burning sensation in their feet or tightness in their knees. It takes time to develop, but as the acid accumulates over time, the pain becomes more frequent. Now let's talk about the sugar. Even though green apples don't taste as sweet as red apples, they still contain natural sugars. For elderly people with slower metabolisms, that sugar causes blood sugar fluctuations. Your calves might feel tired, your legs might cramp at night. You might experience morning stiffness or feel weak when climbing stairs. What makes this particularly challenging is that green apples are often eaten raw as a snack or even right before bed. This means the body is constantly being affected by them. They seem so healthy and pure, but for aging bodies, green apples might be subtly making walking harder, stiffening joints, and making nights more restless. Dr. Jennifer Kim, a naturopathic physician specializing in senior nutrition, shares this insight. Malic acid can be beneficial in small amounts, but when seniors eat apples daily, sometimes multiple apples, the cumulative effect can be inflammatory. I've had patients who eliminated their daily apple habit and saw remarkable improvements in their sleep quality and morning joint comfort within just 2 weeks. But what about a tropical fruit that's rich, extremely sweet, and beloved by many? If a fruit this basic can have these effects, what about mangoes? Let's discuss the real sugar bomb. Mangoes, the joint inflammation accelerator. Mangoes. Juicy, soft, almost like candy. Nearly everyone loves this fruit, particularly during summer months. But here's the truth. Mango might be the most harmful fruit for elderly people dealing with joint weakness and leg pain. Why? Because it's loaded with natural sugar. I don't mean a little either. I'm talking about a significant sugar punch that will make your blood sugar spike sharply and quickly. A single cup of mango contains about 23 grams of sugar. That's nearly 6 teaspoons of pure sugar. Now, if you're active and under 30, your body can often handle that spike. But after age 60, your metabolism changes dramatically. That sugar rush causes an insulin spike followed by a crash. And every time this happens, your body creates inflammation deep within your joints, particularly in the soft tissues around your ankles, hips, and knees. If you have nerve problems, you might experience a burning sensation in your toes, a tingling that won't go away, swelling around your feet in the evening, a creeping heaviness in your legs that makes every step feel labored. Because mango tastes light, feels fresh, and doesn't seem like a heavy meal, it's easy to eat in larger portions. But this makes everything worse. Here's the deception. The feeling of lightness doesn't matter to your body. Your body reacts to the sugar load, and over time, that sugar can cause joint pain, slow walking, and unsteady legs. Consider James, a 71-year-old from California. I loved mangoes and ate them almost every day during summer. They felt so refreshing and healthy, but I started noticing my knees were more painful, especially in the morning. My doctor suggested tracking my diet, and we realized the mango consumption correlated with my worst pain days. When I cut back to just once a week, the daily knee pain virtually disappeared. Many elderly people eat mangoes thinking they're a natural treat. And they are natural, but natural doesn't always mean safe for compromised circulation and aging joints. The evidence is mounting, and the pattern is clear. These seemingly innocent fruits are working against your body in ways you never imagined. Now you've seen the complete picture of how seemingly healthy fresh fruits can damage your aging body. But what if I told you that there are two more categories of fruits that are even more dangerous? These next two might be the worst offenders of all, and they're hiding in plain sight in most seniors' pantries. Let's talk about dried fruits. The concentrated health destroyers. Dried fruits. Raisins, dried cranberries, dried apricots, dates. They're marketed as healthy snacks, perfect for seniors because they're soft, easy to chew, and packed with nutrients. They seem like the perfect solution. All the benefits of fruit in a convenient, long-lasting package. But here's the terrifying truth. Dried fruits are essentially candy in disguise, and they're wreaking havoc on senior health. When fruit is dried, something dangerous happens. All the water is removed, but all the sugar remains. This creates an incredibly concentrated sugar bomb. A single quarter cup of raisins contains 29 grams of sugar. That's more than a can of soda. But unlike a soda, which people recognize as unhealthy, dried fruits carry a health halo that makes people eat them without guilt or portion control. Dr. Richard Chen, an endocrinologist at Stanford Medical Center, puts it bluntly. Dried fruits are one of the most deceptive foods in the American diet. Patients come to me with uncontrolled blood sugar, chronic inflammation, and joint pain. And when I review their diet, they're eating what they think are healthy snacks. A handful of dates has the same glycemic impact as a candy bar, but people eat them thinking they're being virtuous. But the damage goes far beyond blood sugar. The concentrated fructose in dried fruits overwhelms your liver's processing capacity. Remember, as we age, our liver function naturally declines. When you flood it with concentrated fructose from dried fruits, it converts much of that fructose directly into fat and inflammatory compounds. This creates a perfect storm in your body. Your joints become inflamed, your blood vessels become more rigid, your circulation to your legs and feet decreases. You start experiencing that familiar pattern: heavy legs, swollen ankles, morning stiffness, and difficulty with stairs. But here's what makes dried fruits particularly insidious. They're addictive. The concentrated sugar creates blood sugar spikes and crashes that trigger cravings for more sweet foods. Many seniors find themselves eating dried fruits throughout the day, creating a constant state of inflammation and metabolic stress. And let's talk about portion sizes. Fresh grapes are already problematic, but at least you're getting some water and fiber with them. With raisins, you're getting pure concentrated sugar. It's easy to eat a cup of raisins, equivalent to about 4 cups of fresh grapes, without even thinking about it. Eleanor, an 81-year-old from Maine, shared her story. I was eating trail mix with dried cranberries and raisins every afternoon as my healthy snack. I thought I was being so good avoiding cookies and chips, but my legs were getting more and more swollen, and I was having terrible joint pain. When my daughter helped me calculate the sugar content, I was shocked. I was eating the equivalent of 12 teaspoons of sugar every day just from my healthy dried fruit snack. When I stopped, the swelling went down within a week. The commercial dried fruits are even worse because they often have added sugar and preservatives. But even natural dried fruits without added sugar are still concentrated sugar bombs that your aging body simply cannot handle efficiently. Now, if dried fruits are dangerous, what about their liquid cousins? This brings us to our final and perhaps most devastating category: fruit juices, the liquid health destroyers. Fruit juices: orange juice, apple juice, cranberry juice, grape juice. They're in every senior center, every hospital, every healthy breakfast recommendation. They're supposed to provide vitamins, boost immunity, and keep you hydrated. But here's the brutal truth. Fruit juices might be the single most damaging thing you can put in your body after age 50. When you drink fruit juice, you're essentially mainlining sugar directly into your bloodstream. There's no fiber to slow absorption, no pulp to make you feel full, no natural satiety signals to tell you when to stop. It's pure liquid sugar with a vitamin chaser. A single 8-ounce glass of orange juice contains 21 grams of sugar and has a glycemic index of 66. That's higher than a Snickers bar. But unlike a Snickers bar, which people know is candy, orange juice is served in hospitals, recommended by doctors, and considered a health food. Dr. Sarah Martinez, a geriatric specialist at Johns Hopkins, explains the devastating impact. When seniors drink fruit juice, especially on an empty stomach, their blood sugar can spike to over 200 mg/dL within 30 minutes. For someone with age-related insulin resistance, this is like setting off an inflammatory bomb in their circulatory system. The damage to small blood vessels in the legs and feet is immediate and cumulative. But the problems with fruit juice go beyond just blood sugar. Because there's no fiber or protein to slow absorption, the fructose hits your liver all at once. Your liver, already compromised by age, can't process this flood of fructose efficiently. Much of it gets converted to fat, specifically visceral fat around your organs, and inflammatory compounds that circulate throughout your body. This inflammation doesn't just affect your joints, it affects your brain, your heart, your kidneys, and especially your circulation. Poor circulation means less oxygen and nutrients reaching your leg muscles. This leads to weakness, fatigue, and that heavy feeling that makes every step feel like a struggle. And here's something most people don't realize. Fruit juice is more addictive than whole fruits. The rapid blood sugar spike followed by a crash creates intense cravings for more sugar. Many seniors find themselves drinking multiple glasses of juice per day, creating a cycle of blood sugar chaos that their bodies simply can't recover from. The marketing makes it worse. 100% fruit juice, no added sugar, packed with vitamin C. These claims make people think they're making healthy choices when they're actually consuming liquid candy. The vitamin content is negligible compared to the damage from the sugar load. Consider William, a 78-year-old retired engineer from Ohio. I was drinking a large glass of apple juice every morning, and another with dinner. I thought I was getting my fruit servings and staying healthy. But I couldn't understand why my legs were so weak and swollen. My doctor ran tests and found my blood sugar was pre-diabetic and my inflammation markers were through the roof. When I stopped the juice and started eating whole fruits occasionally, my energy came back, the swelling went down, and I felt 10 years younger. The research is undeniable. A Harvard study following over 100,000 adults for 18 years found that people who consumed one or more servings of fruit juice daily had a 21% higher risk of developing diabetes, while those who ate whole fruits had a lower risk. For seniors whose metabolisms are already compromised, the risk is even higher. Even natural fruit juices without added sugar are still concentrated fructose solutions that your body processes as liquid candy. There's no such thing as healthy fruit juice for people over 50. Now you've seen the complete picture. 7 categories of fruits that, despite being praised for their health benefits, have a dark side for people over 50. But here's the good news, and this is really important. There are fruits that work with your body instead of against it. Fruits that support strong, stable legs, reduce joint pain, and fight inflammation instead of causing it. Let's talk about the healing alternatives. What seniors should eat instead. Because eating the right fruits does more than just satisfy your hunger. They heal your body from the inside out. First, let's talk about berries. Blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, strawberries. These small fruits are powerful anti-inflammatory agents. They're low in sugar, high in antioxidants, and gentle on your blood sugar. Most importantly, they improve circulation, especially to your legs. They help fight stiffness, reduce swelling, and promote easier movement. The magic is in their anthocyanins, powerful compounds that literally repair damaged blood vessels and reduce inflammation at the cellular level. A study published in the Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry found that seniors who ate just half a cup of mixed berries daily showed measurable improvements in circulation and reduced inflammatory markers within 4 weeks. Next, cherries, but in moderation. Tart cherries actually help reduce uric acid levels, which means less likelihood of gout flare-ups and joint pain. They soothe aching joints and that burning sensation in your knees or toes. Just a handful of cherries, not a bowlful, can provide significant relief. Then there's avocado. Yes, it's a fruit, and it's one of the best for joint health. Why? Because it's loaded with healthy fats that reduce inflammation throughout your body and cushion your joints. It also helps regulate insulin, providing steady energy without blood sugar spikes. Looking for something easy to digest? Try papaya. This gentle tropical fruit contains enzymes that help reduce inflammation and aid digestion. It's mild on the stomach and gentle on aging joints. Plus, it's one of the few fruits that actually becomes easier to digest as it ripens. And don't forget about pears. When eaten with a little fiber or protein, they provide gentle sweetness without being overly sugary. They give your body energy without putting undue stress on your legs and circulation. The key insight here is this: each of these fruits works with your body instead of against it. They don't cause inflammation, they don't make you swell, they don't spike your blood sugar dangerously. Instead, they help your body achieve the strength, balance, and comfort it's seeking. But remember, it's not just about eating fruit. It comes down to choosing the right ones for your age and your body's current needs. Fruits that are appropriate for your body right now, in this stage of your life. Dr. Amanda Foster, a functional medicine physician specializing in healthy aging, puts it perfectly. The goal isn't to eliminate all fruits. It's to choose fruits that support your body's changing needs. A 70-year-old's nutritional requirements are completely different from a 30-year-old's. When we honor that difference and make conscious choices, the body responds with increased energy, reduced pain, and improved mobility. And when you start making those conscious choices, you begin to feel it. Steadier steps, calmer movement, clearer mornings, and legs that feel strong and reliable again. Now, let me close with some final thoughts, words of wisdom, and a message specifically for you. If you've made it this far in this video, it tells me one thing: you care about your health, your strength, and your future. And I want you to hear this clearly. It's not too late to make changes. You still have time to heal, and you're not alone in this journey. Getting older is challenging. The pain, the stiffness, the fear of losing independence, it all creeps up gradually. Sometimes it can make you feel like your body is betraying you. But here's the truth. You can take control through smart, small changes rather than drastic measures. One meal, one fruit choice, one decision at a time. The fruits we discussed today aren't evil. They might just no longer be the best choices for your health at this stage of your life, and that's perfectly okay. Growing older doesn't mean giving up. It means getting smarter about your choices. When you start eating mindfully and choosing foods that support strength, circulation, and joint health, you'll notice the difference. Less pain, more flexibility, smoother mornings, and lighter steps. That's the goal of this education. Not fear or restriction, but empowerment and hope. I want to hear from you now. Tell me in the comments below. What did you learn today, and what change are you ready to make? Because when we share our experiences, we all grow stronger together. Let's support each other on this journey. If this video helped you or even slightly opened your eyes to something new, please hit that like button. It helps me know this information is reaching the right people. Click subscribe to make sure you don't miss any information that could transform your health. And turn on that notification bell so you're the first to know when I release new content. Before you leave, please type 1 if this video was helpful to you. If it wasn't, type 0. You might not realize how important your feedback is. It helps me create better content that truly serves your needs. Remember, your legs carry your independence. Take care of them, and they'll take care of you. Stay strong, stay informed, and never forget that small, intelligent changes today can give you years of vibrant, pain-free tomorrows. Until next time, this is your health advocate reminding you that knowledge is power, and you have more control over your health than you might think. Thank you for trusting me with your time and your health journey.